Welcome to BFM's 3 p.m. News. I am your presenter, Narissa Bostwick. On the local scene, the 2025 edition of the Geku Limited SVG Gospel Fest will be officially opened this Sunday, March 30th at the Russell's Auditorium from 6 p.m. The festival, which was started in 2003 and is now into its 23rd year, has become a major event on the national calendar and showcases Vincentian gospel expressions in music, song, dance, and drama. The evening's program, dubbed a Praise and Worship Experience, will feature 6 of the leading denominational worship teams, including Church of the Nazarene, Church of God of Prophecy, Kingstown Baptist Church, Pentecostal Assemblies of the West Indies, and the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Addresses will come from Chairman of the Gospel Fest Committee, Leroy Brown, new corporate sponsor Geku Limited, and Minister of Culture Carlos James, who will officially declare the festival open. Following the opening this Sunday, the festival will continue with shows every weekend in April at the Russell's Auditorium. Geku Limited SVG Gospel Fest 2025 is being held under the theme, A Glorious Celebration of the Gospel of Jesus Christ. The Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force, RSVGPF, through the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Coast Guard Service, is actively conducting a search operation for a missing man following a marine incident. On Thursday, March 27th at about 3:26 p.m., the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Coast Guard Service received a report of a missing person at sea. According to reports, fishing vessel Guillotine J8136Ki capsized in waters off Fort Duvernay with 3 individuals on board: Justin Brooker, Kamara Phillips, and Prince Yearwood. Mr. Justin Brooker and Miss Kamara Phillips were rescued safely. However, Mr. Prince Yearwood remains missing. Coast Guard personnel conducted an extensive search operation for Mr. Yearwood throughout the afternoon and evening hours of Thursday, but were unable to locate him. Search efforts resumed at first light today, March 28, and are continuing at this time. The RSVGPF and SVG Coast Guard will provide further updates as information becomes available. The National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority, NPRBA, announces the 260th anniversary of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Botanical Garden, the oldest botanical garden in the Western Hemisphere. Established in 1765, the garden stands as a proud symbol of St. Vincent and the Grenadines' rich natural heritage, commitment to botanical conservation, and historical significance. Celebrating under the theme, Our Garden, Our Heritage, 260 Years Strong, this year-long celebration will feature a range of activities and events that honor the garden's vital role in biodiversity conservation, environmental education, and sustainability. The key objectives of this milestone anniversary include raise awareness of the garden's historical, ecological, and cultural significance, promote biodiversity conservation through educational initiatives and partnerships, and foster public engagement by organizing events that promote sustainability and safeguard the garden's legacy. The National Parks, Rivers and Beaches Authority invites all Vincentians, visitors, conservationists, nature lovers, and history enthusiasts to participate in this historic milestone and support efforts to preserve this invaluable national treasure. Further details on the 260th anniversary celebration will be shared in the coming months. In further news on the local scene, the Ministry of Transport Works, Lands and Physical Planning would like to inform the residents of Diamond, Belvedere, Brighton Villages, and the general public that roadworks will be carried out on Brighton Thomas Apartments Road, starting from the main entrance to the Brighton Primary School to the previously paved section. Road closure is necessary to facilitate the roadworks occurring from the period March 31st to April 14, 2025. The traffic diversion routes are as follows. Motorists leaving Brighton will travel across the newly constructed Brighton Belvedere Bridge and exit at Belvedere D Street. Motorists traveling to Brighton will enter from Belvedere F Street and onto the Brighton Belvedere Bridge. Please note that road notices will be situated at the various locations to alert and direct traffic flow. The Ministry of Transport, Works, Lands and Physical Planning thanks the public for your cooperation in this endeavour. Pedestrians and motorists are asked to exercise caution and to take notice of all signs and instructions by road supervisors. On to regional news. Barbados Prime Minister Mia Mottley is urging the United States to avert a Caribbean trade crisis as the North American country moves towards implementing a policy to impose a port fee of $1 million per port call on any Chinese-built vessel calling at U.S. ports. What we potentially face at the announced cess levy, whatever you want to call it, on ships made in China will have serious and deleterious consequences for the commerce, not just of Barbados, not just of the Caribbean, but also for Florida, Mottley said, as she addressed the opening of Court's new superstore at Welch's on the south coast of the island on Thursday night. The U.S. government's investigation into China's dominance in shipbuilding, maritime, and logistics started under the Biden administration, and in January, the United States Trade Representative, USTR, issued its findings on the matter. In a statement on February 21st, the USTR said that to obtain the elimination of China's acts, policies, and practices, and in light of China's market power over global supply, pricing, and access in the maritime, logistics, and shipbuilding sectors, USTR proposes to impose certain fees and restrictions on international maritime transport services related to Chinese ship operators and Chinese-built ships, as well as to promote the transport of U.S. goods on U.S. vessels. The high fees being proposed are seen as a way to channel more shipbuilding back to the United States. Earlier this week, St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, warned that if the policy is implemented, it will be one of the most severe blows to the economies of the Caribbean. The United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, says the humanitarian situation in Haiti, particularly in the Port-au-Prince metropolitan area, continues to deteriorate amid extreme violence. Stéphane Dujarric, the spokesman for the UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, said that the extremely volatile security situation is also hindering the work of humanitarian organizations, but we and our partners continue to provide aid to people in need as security and funding permits. He said the UN Population Agency, UNFPA, is reporting that 2 safe spaces for women and girls remain open in the capital, and mobile teams to support gender-based violence victims are being deployed to displacement sites. However, activities have been reduced in areas due to the ongoing violence. Dujarric said this year's humanitarian response plan requires more than $900 million to support 3.9 million people, almost half of them women and children. He said food, security, protection, and water and sanitation are among the most pressing needs, but the current plan is financed only at 5%, or just $46 million. And finally, the news at this hour. A huge 7.7 magnitude earthquake has hit central Myanmar, according to the United States Geological Survey. At least 144 people have died, and 732 have been injured so far in the country, Myanmar military leader has said, according to a report by the BBC. The epicenter was 10 miles northwest of the city of Saijing at a depth of 10 kilometers, sending strong tremors that were felt as far as southwest China and Thailand. Meanwhile, 81 construction workers are missing after an unfinished high-rise building collapsed hundreds of miles away in Bangkok, according to Thailand's Deputy Prime Minister. A rescuer in Mandalay, Myanmar's second-largest city, told the BBC the damage is enormous. The total number of people killed and injured by the earthquake is expected to rise in the coming days. This has been WFM's 3 p.m. News. I have been your presenter, Narissa Bostwick. Our next newscast will be coming to you at 5:30 p.m. Be sure to join us then.